Hey everyone! Alright, we're going to do a video here on subtracting rational numbers. And subtracting rational numbers is very similar to adding rational numbers. The focus in this video is on fractions in particular, and I'll show you the types of problems that we're doing today. So this is what I'm talking about, stuff like this. Negative 4 and 2 fifths minus negative 1 seventh. Negative 4 and 2 fifths minus negative 1 seventh. Okay, so first off, when I see this problem, I see a whole bunch of things that I need to deal with. I see a lot of negative signs, I see subtraction, I see fractions, and I see a mixed number. So why don't we take this down into like steps. First, let's get rid of the mixed number. 4 times 5 is 20, plus 2 is 22. So 22 fifths. I'm just going to rewrite that to make things a little easier. So negative 4 and 2 fifths is negative 22 fifths minus parenthesis, negative 1 seventh. I also see that it's a subtraction problem, and what we've learned with integers and subtraction is we use what we call the KCC rule, the keep, change, change rule, where we keep the first number the same. So negative 22 fifths is not going to change, but then we do change, change. So keep, change, change. I'm going to change it to a positive 1 seventh, which now turns it into an addition problem. And not only is it an addition problem, but it's an addition problem with a negative and a positive. So in my thought bubble here, in my mind, I now see that, okay, it's an adding problem. One's negative, one's positive. I see different signs. And I know with different signs, the rule is I need to subtract. So subtract. That's kind of going on in my head, like, okay, I got to remember to subtract. I also know with fractions, I can only work with it if it's a common denominator. And these are not common denominators. 5 and 7 are not. So I'm going to use that butterfly effect strategy that we've learned in class, where I'm going to get a common denominator by multiplying across. Here's my butterfly wings. I'm going to look at this and say, you know what? Okay, let's times 22 times 7. Let's see, 22 times 7. 7 times 20 be 140. Plus 14 would be 154. We can check it on a calculator. I have no problem if you use a calculator to do 22 times 7 to see if you're right. But it should be, 154. So we have 154. Of course, it's negative because of this negative sign that was down below here. 5 times 1, that'll be easy. That's just 5. And we're going to be adding those together. And then for the bottom of my butterfly, 5 times 7 is 35. That'll be my common denominator. So I have this. I have a negative 154 plus 5 all over this new common denominator of 35. And because I have different signs, we already established that the rule is to subtract. So 154 minus 5 is 149 over 35. And I look at the numbers and I notice the bigger one is 154 and it's negative, so it's a negative 149 over 35. So I'm almost done at this point. All I have to figure out is how many 35s fit into 149. Like, I need to change this into a mixed number and kind of simplify it down. So kind of think of it like this, like how many 35s? If I added up 35 plus 35, that's 70 plus 35. Oops, that didn't work. 70 plus 35, that's 3 35s. I'll add another 35. That's 140. I think about 4 35s are going to fit into here because 35 times 4, we just figured out, is 140. So 4 whole 35s are going to fit. The remainder from 140 to 149, the remainder is 9, so we have 9 35ths remaining. And because it was a negative answer, we have a negative 4 and 9 35ths. And that's it. That's my answer. Okay, so let's try another problem. Look at another one here. We'll do example 2. And for example 2, we're going to do 1/4 minus 2 and 1/5. So another subtraction problem, 1/4 minus 2 and 1/5. And I'm going to tackle it the same way as the last problem. I'm going to get rid of the mixed number. 2 times 5 is 10, plus 1 is 11, 11/5. So really I have 1/4 minus 11/5. Okay, let's use our KCC rule now and go for the keep, change, change. I'm going to keep the 1/4, and then I'm going to change, change. So it's going to turn into a plus, minus turns to a plus, and this is going to turn into a negative 11/5. Keep, change, change. Awesome. Okay, in my thought bubble in my head, now I am thinking this. I've changed it into an adding problem. I'm adding two fractions together. One of them's positive, one of them's negative. So I'm seeing different signs. Different signs. Different signs mean I have to subtract. So it's another subtraction problem. So all I need to do is subtract my values, but I need a common denominator again. And 4 and 5 are not common. So I go back to my butterfly effect. I'm going to multiply 5 times 1 and negative 11 times 4. Make my butterfly wings. 5 times 1 is 5. 4 times 11 is 44, but this is where the negative sign was, so it's a negative 44. And then my common denominator on the bottom of my butterfly here is 4 times 5 is 20. So this is what I end up getting. I end up getting a 5 and a negative 44. So 5 plus negative 44 over this common denominator of 20. And we're almost done. Now I look at it and say, remember what we thought in our head here. Different signs mean I have to subtract. So 44 minus 5 is going to be a 39 over 20. And the bigger number between the two of these is 44, and it's negative, so it's a negative 39. All right, almost done. I just got to clean up that fraction, simplify it down. 20 fits into 39 one whole time. I know that for a fact. So if I take 20 out of 39, the remainder is going to be 19. So 19 20ths. And then it's a negative 39 20ths, so it's a negative 1 and 19 20ths. And that's my answer. So basically what we figured out is if we go back to the top of the problem, 1/4 minus 2 and 1/5 is equal to negative 1 and 19 20ths. And that's it. Okay, so now it's your turn to try it because this takes some practice. So I'm going to give you two problems here. And I'm going to encourage you, the best thing you could do is you could pause the video and you could try these by yourself first, because if you can get them right, then you know you're in the right direction. So copy them down, hit pause on the video, try and solve them, and then we can check your answers. Okay, so now I'm hoping you're unpausing the video and you're ready to check answers with me. And we're going to go through the process of each of these. So I'm just going to draw a line down the middle here. Let's start on A first. Get rid of the mixed number. 4 times 7 is 28, plus 2 is 37ths. Do that first. Minus negative 4/15. All right. Then it's a subtraction problem, so it's the KCC rule. Keep, change, change. Keep the 37ths. Change the inside. Plus 4/15. Awesome. We're adding. They're both positive now, so the answer is going to be positive, and they're both being added together, so we just have to add our numbers. This is good. But I need a common denominator, so I'm going to butterfly effect this thing. And this time when I'm multiplying, kind of some big numbers to multiply here. I have to do 30 times 15. So I'm going to grab my calculator, and I'm going to figure out what 30 times 15 is. And 30 times 15 is 450. So this is 450. 7 times 4 is 28. I know that. And then 7 times 15 is going to be my common denominator. So again, 7 times 15, you can use a calculator, is 105. Nice common denominator. So here's what I get. I get 450 plus 28 all over 105. Because they're both positive, all I have to do is add the numbers together. So 450 plus 28 would be 478 over 105. Awesome. Okay, so let's clean this up. It's a little messy. It's a big fraction, but we're doing good. We've got the right answer so far. How many 105s fit into 478? My guess is probably 3. Watch. 105 times 3 is 315. If I added another 105, maybe another one fits in there. 420. Ah, 4 of them fit in there. Okay, so 405s fit into 478. Watch this over on the side here. 4 times 105 is 420. So out of 478 and 420, the remainder is 58. So we have 58 remaining out of 105. I'd really like to reduce that fraction down and simplify it, but I don't know if there's anything that these both simplify by. I could divide by 5, but 58 doesn't divide by 5. And I could divide by 2, but then 105 wouldn't divide by 2. I don't think this is going to work. I think we are simplified. So 4 and 58 over 105 is our answer. Hopefully that's what you got when you did it yourself. Let's check out the other one. Let's check out B. Okay, B, no mixed numbers to deal with. It's kind of nice. It's all ready to go. I'm going to go straight to my keep, change, change. I'm going to keep negative 3/4. And then I'm going to change. So it's going to be plus a negative 6/5. Awesome. Then I'm going to go for the butterfly effect, and I'm going to try and get my common denominator. So I'm going to butterfly this. And 5 times 3 is 15, but it's a negative 15. 4 times 6 is 24, but it's a negative 24. And for the bottom, 4 times 5 is 20. So I get negative 15 plus negative 24 all over 20. All right, now I'm seeing adding with the same signs. I see 2 negatives. So in my mind, I'm thinking about my integer rules. I see addition. I see same signs. So I'm thinking, oh, add the numbers, keep the sign. All I got to do is continue to add. So 15 plus 24, that's what I need to figure out. What is 15 plus 24? Well, that would be 39 over 20. And because they're both negative, so is this. Negative 39/20. Cool. Okay, almost done. Now I got to turn it into a mixed number, kind of clean it up a little bit. So let's see, how many 20s fit into 39? Just one. So I get 120 inside of there, which means my remainder is going to be 19. I'm going to have 19 remainder out of 20. So I get 1 and 19/20. And because it was a negative number, so is this. Negative 1 and 19/20. Meaning that my final answer for this subtraction problem way up here is equal to negative 1 and 19/20. Cool. Okay, so I hope you got some of these right and that made sense when I went through it. If it didn't, or if you're missing them, we got to continue to practice in class because you're going to want to get this down. Thanks, you guys.